Hi everybody, this is Scott Sharp with Fretboard Toolbox, and today we're going to learn how to build the 6 main chords in the key of G major. We'll learn 3 major chords, G major, C major, and D major, and then we'll learn 3 minor chords, A minor, B minor, and E minor. And once you have those, then I'll show you some places you can practice the chord progressions on the Toolbox website and work on switching from chord to chord, which takes some time. But today we're going to focus on basic chord shapes and basic chord progressions, and hopefully by the end you'll have something you can work with for a while. Let's take a look and see how it works. If you go to the Fretboard Toolbox website and you click on Mandolin, then you'll come here to where you can look inside either the Essential books or the Complete books. And today we're going to look inside the Essential Mandolin ebook. So you click on Look Inside, and the Mandolin preview pages will pop up, which is all the instructions. And out of all these 5 keys that are in the Essential book, we're going to look at the free G major pages today. So we'll learn the 3 major chords, the 1, 4, and 5, and then the 3 minor chords, the 2, 3, and 6. So let's start by looking at the G major chord here, the 3 major chords. So in the key of G major, your 1 chord is called G major, and it's made of the notes G, B, and D. And major chords are always made of notes in the 1, 3, and 5 columns. So all 3 of these major chords here, G, C, and D, all use notes in the 1, 3, and 5 columns. And the reason you want to know that is because if you know G majors are made of G, B, and D notes, and then you can have a layout and see where those notes are found all up and down the fretboard, you can build the chords really easily. So G majors are built to the notes G, B, and D. You need to know this black bar is called the nut, and here it is on your mandolin right up here. It's the thing the strings rest on. And so in my books, anything to the left side of the nut is what the strings are open. So these strings open on a mandolin are G, there's 2 Gs, 2 Ds, 2 As, and 2 Es. But to make a G major chord, we just want to use the notes G, B, and D. So we can leave these 4 strings open because they're already Gs, Bs, or Ds. And we can leave the 3 strings open because they're a D already. But the 2 strings are A's, and we don't want to leave those open. So we can come up to the 2nd fret and get a B note. And that looks like this. Open G's, open D's, and then B, 2nd fret. And when you're fretting, put your finger right above the fret here. I don't want to be on it because that makes it tinny, and I don't want to be too far back from the fret because that kind of gets tinny too. So I just want to be right above the fret, and there's my B note. And then on the 1 string, I don't want an E note because that's not G, B, or D, but I can come up here to the 3rd fret and play a G. So to play a G major chord, the easiest one to start out with is open, open, 2nd, 3rd. And then if you already get that and you know that chord, then you can use this page to build those chords all up and down the fretboard, because any combination where I can play just G's, B's, and D's, any shape that I'm building that just uses those notes is a G major chord. So G major, we played with 2 fingers, and we used the notes G, B, and D. The 4 chord is a C major, and in Western music, the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 are the backbone of all the music. So 1, 4, and 5 chords get played together all the time. So we got G major. C major is made of the notes C, E, and G. So I can, on the interactive book, I can click on C major and scroll down here to my fretboard that has C major chords, and I can see C's, E's, and G's all over here in purple circles. So the 4 string I can leave open again because that's part of a C major chord. The 3 strings, I want to hit this 2nd fret because I need a C, E, or G. So that looks like this. That's G, E, G, E. Then the 2nd strings, I need a C here would be good. So I can go open, 2nd, 3rd fret, C. And then on the 1 strings, I can either leave it open or I can hit the 3rd fret because both of those are part of the chord. So here's leaving it open. And remember, G major looked like this. And so G majors and C majors sound good together all the time because they're in the same keys, a couple different keys actually. And then for the 5 chord, the 5 chord's a D major, and it's made of the notes D, F sharp, and A. So I can click on that and scroll down here to the D major, and here's all D, F sharp, and A notes all up and down the fretboard. So the 4 strings, I can't leave that open because I don't want a G, but I've got an A right here. 3rd strings I can leave open, 2nd strings I can leave open, and 1st strings I can grab the 2nd fret here. And that looks like this. So I'm playing A, D, A, F sharp. So if I know those 3 chord shapes, then what I can do is I can go back to the chord jig here, and I can see some chord progressions in this box here. And so I want to be able to play through these chord progressions and practice them. And so to do that, I set up something on the website under 200 free jam tracks. So if you go back to the website and click on 200 free jam tracks, you can scroll down and click on some G major jam tracks. And the first track on that page is just G major played over and over, so you can practice just that chord with some background track to it. So let's go back and see the fretboard while we're playing here. And now I'm just going to play G majors. And you can work on all kinds of different strumming techniques here. Then, since I know the I've already learned G major, C major, and D major, then I can go down and try some different tracks too. Like I could try a G major, D major, G major. It's called the 1-5-1 progression. So to practice that G, D, G, I can go back to my jam tracks, and the next track here is G major, D major, G major, and it says which page to use on either essential or complete editions, and it shows which scales you can use and how to find those notes. But today we're just going to work on playing chords with it. So now I'm going to play G, D, G, and we'll go back to the fretboard here. Here's G, D, back to G. G, D, back to G. So you get good at moving around between those chords and just practice going from G to D back to G. And if you forget how to do it, just check the toolbox and see how to build those chords. And a third progression we could try is G, C, D. It's called the 1-4-5 progression, a super common progression. So let's go down and try jam track 2 here, which is G, C, and D. We'll play it on the slow speed. You can play any of these at 3 different speeds to work on working your way up to faster and faster playing. So we're on G right now. Now it's on C major. This is the 4 chord. D, 5 chord, back to G, G, C. Listen how that 4 chord pushes you away from the root. 5 chord has tension, back to G. Let's try one more. G, the 4 chord's going to push us away. D major, 5 chord. Alright, let's pause that. So if you listen to those chords, when you're playing that G major, that's your home. C major, your 4 chord, always pushes you away from the root. And the 5 chord has tension that takes you back to the 1 chord. 1 chord, 4 chord, 5 chord. So that's a good place to start, is working on just your major chords in the key. But then after a while, you're going to want to be able to add some minor chords in there. So the 3 minor chords that are in this key are, the 2 chord is A minor, the 3 chord is B minor, and the 6 chord is E minor. So we want to learn to play those too. So you can click on any of those chords, and you'll see the A minor chords are built out of the notes A, C, and E. And so major chords were built in the 1, 3, 5 columns, 1, 3, and 5, but the minor chords are built in 1 and what's called the flat 3. So a flat 3 is just, if this is A, B, C, here's C sharp. So if you flatten C sharp, it's a C note. So here's C sharp, back to C. So we're going to flatten the 3rd note, and you don't have to understand that right now, but just understand that A minor chords are built with these red circles, A, C, and E notes. So to play an A minor, I can scroll down here and see where are my, oops, there we go, where's my A, C, and E notes. So one way that we can play an A minor is A, E, C, and then A. So 2nd fret, 2nd fret, 3rd, and 5th. That looks like this. And so I'm using my pointer finger here to bar these first 2 frets. And this takes a little bit of time to get down, but you're going to do it all the time on different chords. So that's my A minor chord, A, C, and E notes. My 3 chord is B minor, B, D, and F sharp. So I can click on that and scroll here to the B minor chord. So now I can use that same shape I used for A minor here and scoot it up 2 frets, and I'm playing the B minor, or the 3 chord in this key. So the B minor, there's B minor, A minor, G minor, A minor, B minor. And then the last chord, the 6th chord, is the E minor chord, and it's built to the notes E, G, and B. And there's lots of different ways to play all these chords, because anytime you're playing just the notes in the colored circles, you're playing that chord. So one way we can play an E minor is leave this G open, because it's already part of the chord, and then we can hit 2nd fret, 2nd fret, and 3rd fret. Let me scroll back down here. So open, 2nd, 2nd, 3rd, and that looks like this. So again, I'm using that first finger to bar those 2 frets. And listen to how minor chords have sad sounds and major chords have happier sounds. Here's G major, here's E minor. They're really close. They use lots of the same notes. So once I've got those 6 chords down, and once you practice those, what you can do is go to these chord progressions and then work on more advanced chord progressions that have some of the minor chords in them. So we could look at this 1, 6, 4, 5, and then we're probably about out of time. But let's scroll down to that E minor, and so we can see that while the chord comes up. And then I'm going to go down here back on the 200 free jam tracks, and I'm going to go to jam track 4, which is G major, E minor, C major, D major. It's called the 1, 6, 4, 5. And so I'm going to play that slow, and we're going to start out on a G. Now E minor, C major, D major, G major, back on the root. Minor chord has a sad sound. C major pushes away. D major has tension. So that's the basics on building the 6 chords in the key of G major. Remember, it's G major's the 1 chord, A minor's the 2 chord, B minor's the 3, C major's the 4, D major's the 5, and E minor's the 6. and then you go back to 1. So you can always check the free pages and work on those 6 chords in the key of G major, and with some practice you'll have those down in a flash, and then when you're ready to work on to other major keys you can pick up an essential edition and practice in all the common major keys, and if you get totally how the method works and you're ready for something even more advanced, check out the complete edition, which is all black and white books that cover all 14 major, minor, and blues keys. So you can see how the notes are laid out all over the fretboard in all the different keys, and go to town on it. So hope you found something useful, and if you did, please subscribe and let me know in the comments what was helpful and what wasn't, and I'll have more videos coming out on lots of different instruments. Thanks for taking a look.